Drinking buddies. You may have heard that zero proof spirits exist, or you may not care. But I'm here to tell you, they exist. But are they good? How will you celebrate your next dry January, your next sober October, your next reverse rumspringer, your next no gin June? You're gonna hit these guys, I guess. Or should you just stick to that non-alcoholic beer that pretty much just tastes like beer? Or that non-alcoholic rum and Coke that pretty much just tastes like Coke, because it pretty much is just Coke, maybe with a little lime squeezed in it. Well, drinking buddies, let's dive in.
I'm your drinking buddy.
All right, drinking buddies, I thought we would start with a classic cocktail here, and we're gonna begin by highlighting this whiskey alternative made by Ritual. We're gonna make an old fashioned with it. And this is American oak, Madagascar vanilla, capsaicin fruit, sugar floss, mesquite smoke, warm caramel, hemp leaves, green peppercorn, prickly ash, and toasted spices. So the idea is they've put enough whiskey flavors in this to make it kind of taste like whiskey. And whiskey has a burn from the alcohol. So they've replaced that alcohol burn with some capsaicin burn, which is the heat that you get off of a hot pepper like a jalapeno. But can it make a decent old fashioned? I guess we'll find out. We're gonna split the base on this one. Normally we would do 2 ounces. Normally we would do 2 ounces of whiskey, but we're gonna do 1.5 ounces of whiskey. Alternative. I guess I shouldn't call it whiskey. We're gonna do 1.5 ounces of that. And then we're gonna do a 1/2 ounce of the amaretto alternative called amaretti. This is gonna be an amaretto old fashioned, I suppose, but we got, and we're gonna do 1/2 ounce of this. Now, drinking buddies, I can't avoid using real bitters for a cocktail. I'm hoping that really helps elevate it to make it taste a little better than it would. We're gonna go with a couple dashes of Angostura. If somebody was on a completely zero alcohol thing, they couldn't necessarily use the Angostura bitters, but a couple drops of alcohol to a cocktail are really not gonna amount to much. All right, next up we're gonna do a bar spoon of maple syrup. Alrighty. Let's give it a stir. So, in our glass, I had a maraschino cherry and an ice sphere, and now let's get a nice lemon wedge, or a lemon zest. I want a long one. I didn't get a long one, but I got a decent one. So we'll kind of express some of the oils around the edge here. Give it a little twist, drop it in, stir it around with our cherry. See how a non-alcoholic old-fashioned tastes. So, on the whiskey alternative, I'm gonna be a little bit more harsh on it because you guys know I'm a primarily whiskey channel, and it does taste like whiskey in taste, but it doesn't have any of the heat from the spirit. It just tastes spicy. So it tastes like I'm drinking a spicy drink here, not necessarily a whiskey drink. The thing about proof in a cocktail, when you swallow, that, you know, you get that alcohol burn, but when you swallow, it goes away. On here, when you swallow, it amps up because we're dealing with capsaicin, not with alcohol. So does this taste good? Yeah, I actually think the non-alcoholic amaretto helps it quite a bit. That might be a really good product. But overall, it's thin, It's spicy. It's just not what I'm looking for in an old fashioned or in whiskey. Now, if you're really trying to cut back your drinking, this might be a way to do it. I probably would just reach for a non-alcoholic beer instead. But those maraschino cherries, they're things of heaven. All right, drinking buddies, I thought I would make an interesting kind of sour drink here with the gin alternative as well as this Aperol / Campari alternative, as well as the maple again, and we're gonna use some lemon juice. So let's start there. Let's start with some lemon juice. That's a pretty big lemon. Ironically, they had the smallest limes on planet Earth and they had giant lemons. All right, so we're gonna go with, I wanna do 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice, if I don't spray it all over my self. All right, we got 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice. We're gonna put in here 1/4 of an ounce of maple syrup. We're gonna do 3/4 of an ounce of this Aperol alternative. Campari alternative, whatever you want to call it. And then we're gonna do a full ounce of our gin alternative. Actually, you know what? I'm modifying the cocktail on the fly. I'm gonna go 1.5 ounces. Gin alternative. All right, so, and the gin is made with Siberian pine, coriander berries, angelica root, hemp leaves, sweet basil, English cucumber, juniper berries, green lemongrass, capsaicin fruit, green peppercorn, prickly ash, peppermint leaf. And the Aperol alternative is made by Lyrie's, as well as the one we used before is also made by Lyrie's. And they're crafted, impossibly crafted non-alcoholic spirits. So let's see how it tastes in a cocktail. First, we need to get some bitters. We're gonna go orange on this one. Do orange bitters, a couple dashes. All right, and I did just add an insignificant amount of alcohol to the cocktail, not enough to count for anything. All right, drinking buddies, let's shake this up. Spread some lemon oils on the glass, drop it in, double strain. This glass was pre-chill, but it's kind of reached almost room temperature now. This has been sitting up here for a few minutes. All right. We have an Aperol gin sour of sorts. But is it good? Okay, now this really isn't bad at all. Am I being fooled into thinking that there is alcohol in this? No, it kind of tastes. Okay, so it's got some fruitiness going on, a little bit of a fruit punch, Hawaiian punch vibe going on. A lot of lemon flavor in here. There's a little bit of orange going on. And then it's spicy. It's got a spicy aftertaste that I believe is supposed to, once again, you know, make you feel like you're drinking something alcoholic. But for me, what it does is when I swallow alcohol, I get a burn. When I swallow this, I wait a few seconds and then I get a burn that goes over my whole tongue. It's not a alcohol burn, it's a spicy burn. Now I will say this is much better than the old fashioned, but it's not something I would make again. Well, drinking buddies, we did some experiments here with some non-alcoholic spirits. I think we've learned that You know, they're kind of an interesting thing that you know, hopefully you're helping people who might be alcoholics get off of alcohol. Or maybe they're just something that people might use to cut back a little bit. And drink what you like, drink what you feel good about, don't overdrink. And maybe if you feel like you are overdrinking, these might be something you might want to look into. For me, I will probably never try them again. I wouldn't call them terrible, but I would say for what they are, I'm actually kind of surprised they aren't worse, if that makes sense. I kind of thought that they would be just straight up disgusting, and they're not disgusting at all. They're just not alcohol, and not alcohol is not what I want in my glass. I want alcohol, not alcohol. Does that make sense? It made sense in my head. Thanks for watching, Drinking Buddies. We'll see you on the next one.